Let's take what's fueling this tension further in depth tonight. I'm joined in studio now by Dr. Micheline Ishay, the director of the Center for Middle East Studies at the University of Denver. Dr. Ishay, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Let's start by talking about what got us here. The demonstrations and protests that we've been seeing are the result of ongoing tensions in the Middle East and a protracted hostage situation. Can you tell us right now about what is currently going on in Gaza and where do you see it going forward?
So today, just this past few days, we know that the American administration's put forward a plan for a ceasefire that include 60 days of ceasefire in which there will be the release of hostages during that period. There'll be also the release of 1,236 prisoners during that same time. There will be new organizations that are going to come to the forefront in order to help with the humanitarian disasters, namely the United Nations, the Red Crescents, and other agreed-upon organizations. But there is a sticking point, there is a stalemate, as there is often the case, and that is the Israeli government does not wish to stop the war 60 days later if Hamas is still in power. For Hamas, the same argument. They do not wish to release the hostages, the full hostages, now 24 lives, if the Israelis are not fully in withdrawal and if Hamas cannot stay in power. So that's the sticky point and the problems in the regions right now.
Over the course of almost 2 years now, we've seen demonstrations on both sides. Is it fair to say that most of these demonstrations here in the U.S. have been relatively peaceful?
They've been relatively peaceful. They have not been about peace, though. And that is the interesting part of it. So there's certainly in campuses and all that, certain group have felt intimidated and harassed as a result of those protests. But they've been peaceful because there was no act of violence, nobody killed, no injury of the sort that we've seen yesterday, or no injury of the sort we've seen in DC as a result of the two Israeli going to an event at the Jewish museums or even in Pennsylvania against Josh Shapiro. So there's not been any critical accidents that are similar to the one we've seen yesterday.
As we've been watching all this unfold in America, this conflict between Israelis and Palestinians has been going on a long time, but I've never seen this tension between Americans and between these protests. Why do you think that is? Why are so many Americans so involved in this conflict?
Well, we can fairly say that before October 7th, there was already a polarizations of American society, and October 7 attack has sort of worsen the situations, particularly within the young generations, and polarize that young generations. I think that part of the problem is that we see a very simple discourse out there, both in academia and in the media, one which suggests that there is a conflation between what the Israeli government does, what the Israeli people think, and what the Jewish people think in this country and worldwide. The same is true for Hamas. A lot of people think that what Hamas is doing is similar to what the Arab population is believing in and the rest of the Islamic world. There are those monolithic, simplistic discourse that are out there, very tribal discourse, that actually have the effect to create sort of hate discourse, and hate discourse can often lead to violence.
Such a complicated issue. Thank you, Dr. Ishay, for breaking it down for us tonight.